Girl ruins. Her best friend's birthday party, but later, she lives to regret it. The sun was setting just right that day, soft golden light falling over Jasmine's backyard, catching the edges of the fairy lights and making everything glow, like something out of a dream. The music was light in the background. Guests were laughing. The smell of home-cooked food floated through the air. It was Jasmine's 18th birthday, something she'd been planning for months. And now, it was finally happening. Everything was perfect. Jasmine stood near the pool in a flowing pastel dress, her curls bouncing gently around her shoulders as she greeted friends with a big smile. She looked beautiful, happy. Her eyes sparkled every time someone hugged her and told her how amazing the party was. People complimented the setup, the music, the cake. It was like every detail had come straight from Pinterest. Right by her side was Lily, Jasmine's best friend since they were little kids. The girl who had helped plan every detail, from the balloon colors to the playlist. Blonde, confident, stylish. Lily had always been the loud one, the center of attention wherever she went. But tonight, that spotlight wasn't on her. It was on Jasmine, and she felt it. Every "Wow, Jasmine, this is amazing" was like a tiny pinprick. Every "You look stunning tonight" felt like a reminder that she wasn't the star of this show. Not this time. Lily laughed at the right times, smiled when she had to, even helped guide people to the photo booth. But something in her was starting to twist, and she didn't know how to stop it. She told herself she was just tired, that she was being silly, that this was Jasmine's night. But that voice in her head kept whispering, "What about you? Doesn't anyone notice you anymore?" As the evening wore on, the fairy lights began to glow a little brighter, and the crowd started to gather near the small stage Jasmine had set up near the pool. It was time for her speech. She stepped up, holding the mic with both hands. Her voice trembled at first, but then grew steadier. "I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. This means so much to me," she said, scanning the crowd with glowing eyes. "Turning 18 is a big deal, and I feel so lucky to be surrounded by the people I love." The crowd clapped. Someone whistled. Jasmine smiled. She continued, "And there's one person who made all of this possible. My best friend, Lily." People turned to look at Lily. Jasmine smiled at her warmly. "Lily, you've been there for me through everything. Thank you for helping me with this party. I honestly couldn't have done it without you." A few people clapped. Some smiled at Lily. And that's when something in Lily cracked. She stepped forward. "Oh, please," she said, her voice loud, enough to cut through the music. "Spare us the sweet speech." The crowd fell silent. Jasmine froze, her eyes wide. "You just love being the center of attention, don't you?" Lily continued, her words sharp now. "You act like you're so perfect, but you're not." There were gasps, whispers. A few people pulled out their phones. Jasmine tried to say something, anything, but her voice caught in her throat. Lily kept going. "You all think she's so hardworking, right? Funny story, she didn't even get into that fancy college on her own. Her parents pulled strings, made a donation." More gasps. Someone actually dropped their drink. Jasmine's heart was pounding. Her face was pale. "Lily, why are you doing this?" she managed, her voice breaking. Lily looked around at the stunned faces, suddenly realizing what she had done. But it was too late. Jasmine ran off the stage, her hands covering her face as she disappeared into the house. The backyard, which had been full of celebration just moments earlier, now felt heavy and quiet. Like everyone had just watched something break, and no one knew how to fix it. Lily stood there still holding the mic, her hands trembling. And for the first time that night, the spotlight was on her. But it didn't feel good anymore. It felt empty and cold. After the party fell apart, the silence in Jasmine's house was louder than the music had ever been. Her guests had quietly started to leave, unsure of what to say. No one dared to ask questions. They all knew something had shattered. But this story didn't begin on that stage. It started days before, quiet, slow, creeping. Lily had always been the bold one, the one who walked into a room like she owned it. And people noticed her. They always had. Jasmine was used to that. She never minded. In fact, she loved that about Lily. Lily could talk to anyone, charm anyone. She was the type of person people gravitated toward naturally. But lately, something was changing. At school, people weren't just noticing Lily anymore. They were noticing Jasmine too. Not just for her smile or her kindness, but for how she carried herself, how she was growing into her own. Her confidence was blooming, and people saw it. Teachers complimented her ideas. Students wanted her opinion, and with her 18th birthday coming up, everyone was excited. For her. It started small. One day at lunch, a classmate turned to Jasmine and said, "Hey, we're all talking about your party. How'd you come up with the theme?" "It's honestly so dope." Jasmine grinned. "Me and Lily have been planning it for weeks. She helped a ton." But Lily didn't smile. She was quiet for the rest of lunch, picking at her food. That night, while helping hang lights in the backyard, Lily made a joke that didn't quite sound like a joke. "You sure you need this many fairy lights? What's next? Fireworks and a helicopter entrance?" Jasmine laughed nervously. "Come on. I just want it to feel special. It's my 18th, you know?" Lily forced a smile. "Yeah, special." The words didn't land right. Jasmine felt it, but she brushed it off. She thought Lily was just tired. The truth was, Lily was feeling something she hadn't felt before, jealousy. But it wasn't just the party. It was the attention. It was the way Jasmine had grown into someone who didn't need her approval anymore. For years, Lily had been the leader between the two. The loud one. The cool one. She never meant to hold that over Jasmine, but deep down, she liked being the one people looked up to. Now, Jasmine was getting her own spotlight, and that scared Lily more than she wanted to admit. One night, just 2 days before the party, they had one of those classic best friend sleepovers. Pizza, music, face masks. But something felt different. Jasmine was excitedly showing off the playlist she had made, smiling at how everything was coming together. She even said, "I can't believe we're finally 18. I feel like a real adult." Lily gave a half smile. "Yeah, feels like everything's changing." Jasmine tilted her head. "Is that a bad thing?" Lily hesitated. "No, just weird. You're all grown up now." "We both are," Jasmine said, nudging her shoulder. "You've been my ride or die since forever. Nothing changes that." But deep inside, Lily didn't believe it. She didn't even know why she was feeling the way she was. It wasn't that. She didn't love Jasmine. She did. Jasmine was the best friend anyone could ask for. Kind, honest, always there. But that night, Lily lay awake long after Jasmine had fallen asleep. Staring at the ceiling, she wondered what her place would be once Jasmine started this new chapter. College, new friends, new life. Would she still need Lily? Would anyone? The day before the party, Lily stood in her room, staring at her closet, trying to pick out what to wear. It felt strange. Normally, she was excited for events like this. Normally, she knew exactly how she wanted to look, what vibe she wanted to give. But not this time. She felt like a guest at someone else's show. Still, she showed up. She smiled. She helped. She laughed at the jokes. She cheered Jasmine on. But, with every compliment Jasmine got, Lily felt herself slipping further into the background. And it scared her. The final straw came when Jasmine was giving that speech. Lily hadn't planned to say anything. She hadn't planned to ruin anything, but when Jasmine said her name and thanked her in front of everyone, called her the best friend who made it all happen, something twisted inside her. It was like a spotlight turned on and pointed at all of Lily's insecurities, her fears, her own loneliness. She didn't feel proud in that moment. She felt invisible, and then she said it. "Oh, please." As soon as the words left her mouth, she regretted them. But it was too late. The rest spilled out like a dam had broken. All the resentment, all the ugliness. Even that secret Jasmine had told her in confidence, she said it. She wanted to take it back the moment it landed, but the silence from the crowd said it all. Now, back in her room later that night, Lily stared at the same ceiling, only this time her eyes were red from crying. She kept hearing Jasmine's voice, cracking, with emotion. "Why are you doing this?" She didn't have an answer, because even she didn't know. Jasmine didn't sleep that night, not even for a second. She sat curled up on her bed, still in her birthday dress, long after the last guest had gone and the music had stopped. Her makeup was smudged from crying, her curls tangled from running, outside into the night. The balloons were still floating gently in her backyard. The lights still twinkled softly, but the party was over. And the pain was only beginning. She kept replaying the scene over and over in her head, the moment Lily's voice cut through her speech, the gasps, the stunned silence, the looks from her friends. That moment had felt like someone ripped open her chest and exposed everything she'd worked so hard to protect. The most painful part wasn't what Lily said about the college secret, although that had hit deep. It was the look in Lily's eyes, cold, distant, like she wasn't her best friend anymore, and maybe she wasn't. When morning finally came, Jasmine still hadn't moved. Her mother gently knocked on the door and opened it slowly. One look at Jasmine's face and she sat beside her without saying a word. She didn't ask questions, she just held her. Jasmine finally cried into her mother's arms, not the quiet kind, but the deep shaking kind that comes when your heart breaks and you don't know if it'll ever feel whole again. Later that day, Jasmine checked her phone. Over 100 messages. Some from friends, some from classmates she barely knew, all of them asking the same thing in different ways. "Are you okay? Did that really happen? What did Lily mean about your college? We were all so shocked." She turned the phone over and let it slide to the floor. She didn't respond to any of them. For the rest of the weekend, Jasmine stayed home. She didn't eat much. She didn't talk much. Her younger brother asked if she was sick, and for a second, she almost said yes. But it wasn't her body that felt broken. It was her trust, her spirit, the kind of pain that no medicine could fix. When Monday came, Jasmine didn't want to go to school. The thought of walking down those halls and seeing people whispering, looking, pointing, it made her stomach turn. Her mom offered to let her stay home, but Jasmine said no. "If I don't face it now," she said quietly, "I never will." So, she went. And just like she feared, people were watching. Not openly, but in that quiet, heavy way people do when they don't know what to say. Her locker was surrounded by stares. Some avoided eye contact. Others gave her small smiles like they felt sorry, and maybe they did. She walked to class with her head down. In the middle of third period, someone slipped a note onto her desk. It was folded neatly. Just 5 words. "You didn't deserve that." N. She didn't know who N was. She didn't need to. It didn't fix anything, but for a second it made her feel less alone. But Lily didn't reach out. Not that day. Not the next. Not even to say sorry. Jasmine wondered if she was even sorry. By the end of the week, Jasmine had stopped checking her phone entirely. Her friends kept reaching out, but she didn't know what to say to them. She wasn't ready to talk about it, and she definitely wasn't ready to explain the college thing. Yes, her parents had made a donation. Yes, it helped. But she had also worked hard. She had cried over late-night assignments, fought through interviews, volunteered, pushed herself. She had always been honest with Lily about the guilt she felt. She never pretended to be perfect, but Lily had made it sound like she cheated her way in, like she didn't deserve any of it. That's what hurt the most, and yet, a small part of Jasmine still missed her. She hated that part. She didn't want to miss someone who hurt her that badly. But there were moments when her mind drifted back to the good times. Late-night talks, silly videos they made together, shared secrets, the way Lily always knew how to make her laugh when she was having a bad day. Were all those moments fake? Or had something real simply been ruined? One afternoon, Jasmine sat in the school library trying to focus on homework, but she couldn't. Across the room, she spotted Lily sitting alone. Not her usual table, not with the popular crowd. Just alone. Lily looked tired, hollow even. Their eyes met for the briefest second. Jasmine quickly looked away. But for the first time, she noticed something she hadn't expected. Lily wasn't glowing anymore. She looked like someone who was carrying something heavy. Like, maybe, just maybe she regretted it. But Jasmine wasn't ready. Not yet. Maybe not ever. As the bell rang and students began to shuffle out of the library, Jasmine sat still for a moment longer. She wasn't sure how long it would take for things to stop hurting. She wasn't sure if forgiveness would ever come. All she knew was this: sometimes, the deepest wounds come from the people closest to you, and the hardest part isn't what they did, it's figuring out what to do with the love that's still left behind. Lily used to love the attention, the nods in the hallway, the way people lit up when she walked into class, her seat always saved at lunch, someone always tagging her in group photos, compliments on her outfit, her hair, her energy. But now, silence. The kind that followed her through crowded hallways like a shadow. People who used to wave now turned their heads. A few whispered just loud enough for her to hear. She really said all that during the speech? I used to think they were like sisters. She did Jasmine dirty. Lily kept her head down and pretended not to notice. But she did. Every word, every stare, every space where people used to be. Her phone hadn't buzzed in days. The group chat was still active, but no one responded when she sent a message last week. It was like she'd been erased, and maybe she deserved it. She didn't expect sympathy, not after what she did. But she didn't expect the loneliness to feel this heavy either. It wasn't just that she ruined Jasmine's birthday, or that she embarrassed her in front of everyone. It was that she broke something real. Something she thought was unbreakable. She could still see Jasmine's face that night. The look of disbelief, of hurt, of betrayal. It replayed in Lily's mind every time she closed her eyes. And she couldn't stop thinking, why did I do that? She'd told herself it was the pressure, that it was a moment of frustration, that it wasn't planned. But deep down, Lily knew the truth. It had been building for weeks, quietly, slowly. That sick, twisting feeling of being left behind, of being replaced, of watching someone you love shine so bright that your own light feels dimmer by comparison. She should have been happy for Jasmine, proud even. But instead, she let the jealousy win, and it changed everything. The worst part was that no one had to punish her. She was doing that just fine on her own. Every night, she replayed her words at the party. The bitterness in her voice, the way people went quiet, the way Jasmine's smile crumbled like it had never been real. She'd never seen Jasmine cry like that before, and the moment she stormed off the stage, Lily knew she'd gone too far. But she couldn't take it back. Not the words, not the look in Jasmine's eyes, not the secret she should have kept safe. It wasn't just a secret. It was trust. A piece of Jasmine's vulnerability that she had handed over with open hands, and Lily had shattered it in front of everyone. Some things can't be undone, she told herself. But she still wanted to try. For the first few days after the party, Lily couldn't even bring herself to reach out. What could she possibly say? Sorry? That didn't feel big enough. That didn't feel like enough for what she'd done. So she waited. And the more time passed, the harder it got. She typed messages, then deleted them. She opened Jasmine's contact more times than she could count. Her finger hovered over the call button again and again, but never pressed it. And the silence grew louder. At school, she sat alone at lunch, the spot where she and Jasmine used to sit, laughing, trading snacks, talking about everything and nothing, was now a painful reminder. She'd pick at her food, barely touching it, her appetite gone. The noise of the cafeteria felt distant, like she was watching the world through a pane of glass she couldn't break. One afternoon, a girl named Amira, someone who used to sit at their table, walked by. She paused. For a second, Lily thought, maybe she was going to say something. Maybe she was going to offer a smile, or even a chance to talk. But instead, Amira just said, "You really hurt her," and kept walking. That night, Lily cried for the first time since the party. Not because she got called out, but because she knew Amira was right. The guilt wasn't just sitting with her anymore, it was clawing at her. It followed her into her dreams, into her reflection in the mirror, into every moment when she remembered who she used to be before this. She missed Jasmine. Not the birthday party, not the attention, just Jasmine. The one person who knew her better than anyone else. The person who always saw past the walls Lily put up, who laughed at her bad jokes, who believed in her, even when Lily didn't believe in herself. And now she was gone. All because Lily had been too caught up in her own pride to see what really mattered. One night, Lily sat on her bedroom floor with an old box of friendship things, photos, handwritten notes, birthday cards from over the years. A dried flower Jasmine had given her before freshman year, a little photo strip from the mall, inside joke doodles, and at the bottom of the box was a note Jasmine had written her back in 10th grade, folded neatly like it had just been written yesterday. "Thank you for being my person. I don't know what I'd do without you." Lily felt like she couldn't breathe. Tears rolled down her cheeks, slow and quiet. She pressed the note to her chest and whispered, "I don't know what I'd do without you either." That's when she knew. She had to say something. Not a text, not a hey, not some fake excuse. She needed to be honest and real. She pulled out a notebook and started writing. Not for anyone else, just for Jasmine. A letter, a confession, every word she wished she had said that night instead. It wasn't perfect. Her handwriting was messy. She crossed out entire sentences, but she kept going. Page after page, until it felt like her heart was on paper. When she finished, she didn't know what would happen. She didn't expect Jasmine to forgive her. She wasn't even sure Jasmine would read it. But she needed her to have it, because even if she couldn't fix the past, she could at least stop pretending she didn't care. Jasmine had just gotten home from school when she saw the envelope. It was sitting on top of her backpack where she'd dropped it that morning, resting quietly like it had always been there, but it hadn't. Her mom must have found it in the mailbox and placed it there. There was no name on the front, no return address, just her name, written in familiar handwriting. She knew who it was from before even opening it. Her first instinct was to ignore it, toss it in the drawer, pretend it didn't exist. After everything Lily had said that night, after the silence and the rumors and the stares in the hallway, Jasmine didn't want another apology that meant nothing. But her fingers trembled as she picked it up. Her heart beat faster. She didn't know why. She was angry, still hurt. But something inside her needed to know what was written inside. She didn't open it right away. She sat on her bed with the letter in her lap, just staring at it. The folded paper felt heavier than it looked, like the weight of all the things that had never been said. Finally, after what felt like forever, she unfolded it. The handwriting was messy, rushed in some places, with a few lines scratched out. It wasn't polished, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. Dear Jasmine, I don't even know where to start. I've rewritten this letter more times than I can count, and every version of it sounds wrong, because honestly, I don't know if there's a right way to say I'm sorry. But I need to try. That night, your birthday, I ruined something. I had no right to touch. I let my own feelings swallow me whole, and I took it out on the one person who never deserved it. You. I was jealous. Not of the party, not of your dress, not even of the college. I was jealous of your light. I watched you become this version of yourself. Stronger, happier, more sure, and instead of cheering you on, I made it about me. You didn't take anything away from me. I just convinced myself that you did. I didn't plan to say those things, but I thought them. I thought them in quiet moments and pushed them away. But they were there, eating at me, and I never told you. And then, in that moment, I exploded. I wanted to hurt you because I thought I had lost you, but in trying to keep my place in your life, I destroyed it. I told your secret. A secret you trusted me with, and that was the worst thing I've ever done. I didn't just embarrass you, I betrayed you. There's no excuse. And I'm not asking for you to forget it or even forgive me. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. Truly. Deeply. I know those words might not mean anything now, but I mean every single one of them. You were always the kindest person in my life. The one who listened, who stayed, who never made me feel small. And when it was your time to shine, I couldn't handle not being in the center anymore. That says more about me than it does about you. I've been trying to understand myself since then, trying to unpack what made me that bitter, that mean, that selfish. And I've been learning a lot about jealousy, about privilege, about friendship. Don't know if this letter fixes anything. I don't think it should. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. All of it. And I'm trying to be better. Whatever you decide to do with this letter, whether you throw it away, fold it up and forget it, or read it over again, I just hope you know that I miss you. Not the attention, not the parties, just you. I'm sorry for ruining your day. But more than that, I'm sorry for ruining your trust. Lily Jasmine stared at the words for a long time. They blurred at the edges. She didn't even realize she was crying until a tear hit the corner of the page and soaked through the ink. She folded the letter slowly and set it down on her nightstand. She didn't know how to feel. She had spent weeks trying to push Lily out of her mind, telling herself she was done, telling herself that no real friend would do what Lily did. And yet, here she was, heart pounding, tears falling, feeling everything all over again. She got up and walked to her desk, pulled open a drawer, and reached for something small and tucked away in the corner. A friendship bracelet. It was old, worn, the threads faded. Lily had made it for her in their first year of high school, using pink and teal string with little silver beads woven in. It had been on Jasmine's wrist every day for years, until the night of the party. That night, she took it off and tossed it in the drawer. Now, holding it again, she wasn't sure what to do with it. Could something broken really be repaired? Could a friendship that had felt like family survive something like betrayal? She didn't know. But she knew one thing. That letter felt real. It wasn't polished. It wasn't written for show. It was raw. And Jasmine could feel the shame in the words, the sorrow, the regret. It didn't fix anything, but it mattered. That night, she didn't write back. She didn't text, but she kept the letter, and she placed the bracelet beside it, not as a sign of forgiveness. Not yet, but as a reminder that pain doesn't erase love. That hurt doesn't mean nothing was real. That maybe, just maybe, there could be space for healing, even after the most broken moments. She didn't know what would come next, but for the first time in weeks, she was open to the idea of finding out. Graduation day arrived on a sky-blue morning, as if the universe itself had decided to give the class of seniors one last perfect memory. Jasmine stood in front of her mirror, adjusting her cap for the third time. Her gown hung loosely over her shoulders, the blue fabric swaying gently with every breath. It didn't feel real yet. 4 years, dozens of late nights, heartbreaks, friend fights, early alarms, bad cafeteria food. All of it had led to this. One day. And yet, despite all the excitement in the air, her mind couldn't stop circling back to one thing: the letter. Lily's letter still sat on her nightstand, folded neatly beside the bracelet they'd once laughed about making. Jasmine had read it 5 times now. Each time the words cut a little differently. She still didn't know if she was ready to forgive, but something in her had shifted. The anger hadn't disappeared, but it had softened. Now, it sat beside sadness. And beside that, a quiet curiosity. Who is Lily becoming now? And who am I becoming without her? Jasmine didn't have the answers. But she did know this. She didn't want to carry hate across the graduation stage. She took one last look in the mirror, tucked a bobby pin under her cap, and headed out. The school field was packed. Parents filled the folding chairs in the back. Friends and family held up balloons, handmade signs and cell phones pointed in every direction. Seniors bustled around, adjusting their caps, fixing each other's tassels, and hugging tightly like they were about to board a plane with no return date. Jasmine found her seat in the second row. Her name tag was taped to the folding chair, right where it should be. She was surrounded by classmates she liked, people she had laughed with, worked with, shared notes with. But despite the buzz and joy in the air, she felt like something big was hanging just outside her reach. And then she saw her, across the field. Lily, standing near the back of the graduating class, holding her cap in her hands. Her gown looked the same as everyone else's, but her posture didn't. She looked like someone trying hard not to be noticed, a first for her. Jasmine hadn't seen Lily up close since that night. From far away, she looked the same. Same blonde hair, same height, same nervous habit of twirling her bracelet when she was anxious. But there was something different about her eyes. Jasmine only looked for a moment. Then she turned away. But that moment was enough for both of them. The ceremony began with music and speeches. Jasmine clapped when classmates walked the stage. She smiled politely when teachers told jokes in their speeches that no one really laughed at. But her heart wasn't fully in it. She was waiting, and when the moment came, it took her breath away. The senior video. The screen lit up at the front of the stage. Music started softly, nostalgic, slow, emotional. A montage of memories began: field trips, spirit days, hallway selfies, science fairs. And then, there it was. A photo of her and Lily from freshman year, both of them in mismatched pajamas during Spirit Week, laughing with their mouths open, arms thrown around each other's shoulders. The audience laughed. Someone in the row behind her whispered, "They were so close." Jasmine felt something twist inside her chest, but the montage didn't stop. More photos followed. Sophomore year, junior prom, the two of them with paint on their faces after the charity event, holding Starbucks cups during finals week, wearing matching hoodies on a rainy day. Lily had submitted those. That was clear now, and Jasmine had submitted her own, too. The two girls had unknowingly chosen to share their shared history, not out of spite, not to erase the pain, but maybe to say, we were real, even if we broke. Jasmine felt her throat tighten. Her eyes stung. She turned her head slightly, scanning the crowd again. Lily was crying. Subtle, but not hidden. Their eyes met for just a second. Jasmine didn't look away this time. After the ceremony, chaos broke loose in the best way. Students were hugging. Families were cheering. Camera flashes went off every few seconds. Teachers wiped their eyes behind sunglasses. Jasmine took photos with her parents, with her younger brother, with friends who had stuck by her through everything. Everyone was buzzing with energy and saying the same thing over and over. We made it. But Jasmine knew there was one moment still waiting for her, and she was done running from it. She handed her mom her flowers, whispered, "I'll be right back," and began weaving through the crowd. Her heart pounded louder with every step. The field felt endless, faces everywhere, voices blending together, until finally, she saw her. Lily stood near the back, by the edge of the fence, alone. Jasmine walked up slowly. Lily looked up, and everything around them got quiet. For the first time since the party, they stood face to face. Neither one spoke at first. Then Jasmine said softly, "Hey." Lily swallowed. "Hey." Another pause. This time, longer. "You submitted the photos," Jasmine said, not as a question, just as something that needed to be said aloud. Lily nodded. "Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should, but they were real." Jasmine nodded slowly. "They were." Silence again. Not heavy this time, just full. "I got your letter," Jasmine added. Lily looked down. "I didn't know if you'd even read it." "I did." And Jasmine exhaled, watching the grass move gently in the breeze. "I don't forgive you, not yet. I'm still hurt, still working through it." "I get it," Lily said quickly. "You don't owe me anything. I needed to say it. I needed to own it." "I know." Jasmine looked at her, really looked at her. The way her eyes shimmered, how her voice wasn't filled with its usual edge. There was no performance. Here, no spotlight. Just Lily. Raw. Human. And something inside Jasmine softened. "I'm not saying we're going back to how things were," she said. "But maybe we could talk. Just start with that." Lily blinked back sudden tears and nodded. "I'd really like that." Jasmine reached into her pocket. Her fingers closed around something. She pulled out the old friendship bracelet, the same one she had refused to wear for weeks. She held it out between them. "I'm not putting it back on yet," she said. "But I didn't throw it away. That means something." Lily looked at the bracelet like it was made of glass. "It does." And for the first time in what felt like forever, they both smiled. It wasn't a perfect smile, not the easy, silly ones from their past. It was small, tentative, but it was real. And sometimes, that's where healing begins. The days after graduation felt like borrowed time, full of long goodbyes, late-night group chats that slowly quieted, and packing boxes that held more memories than things. Jasmine sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor, surrounded by the mess of her life in transition. Half-filled suitcases leaned against her closet. Photos, books, and notebooks were spread across the carpet. Her college dorm was just 2 weeks away, and nothing about it felt real yet. She picked up the old friendship bracelet again. She'd started wearing it around the house. Not on her wrist, but tucked safely in her hoodie pocket. She didn't know why. Maybe it was comfort. Maybe it was because it reminded her that healing wasn't about forgetting, It was about choosing what you take with you. Her phone buzzed. Lily. Hey, there's a coffee shop that opened near the park. Want to meet tomorrow before things get even crazier? Jasmine stared at the message for a moment, then typed back. Yeah. Same. Time as always, Lily, always. The next day, Jasmine arrived first. The place was quiet. Small tables, soft music, windows that let the sunlight pour in. The kind of place that felt like it belonged in the background of a healing story. She ordered an iced tea and found a corner booth by the window. Lily arrived a few minutes later. She looked different. Not physically, but emotionally. She moved quieter, more carefully, like someone who'd learned not to take up space without permission. They exchanged a small smile as she slid into the seat across from Jasmine. Still tea? Lily asked, motioning to Jasmine's cup. Jasmine nodded. Still coffee? Like my soul, Lily grinned, then paused. Okay, bad joke. Jasmine let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding, and laughed. For real this time. I missed that, Jasmine said quietly. Your awful jokes. Lily looked down at her cup. I missed everything. The moment hung in the air between them, not heavy, just honest. I meant what I said, Jasmine continued. I'm still hurt. Still not sure where this goes. But I want to try. Lily nodded, her voice low. Trying's all I'm hoping for. And not just with us. I've been doing a lot of looking in the mirror and not liking what I see. But I'm not running from it anymore. Jasmine sipped her tea, studying her. I can tell, she said. Lily smiled, not her old confident smile, but a gentler one. I joined a community service group. We do workshops and food drives. I figured if I wanted to feel less selfish, I had to do something about it. That's good, Jasmine said sincerely. And I've been reading a lot, too. Stuff I used to ignore. Things I never paid attention to. About privilege, identity. How people like me can do harm without even realizing it. I wish I'd started sooner. Jasmine nodded slowly. That means something, Lily. I see the change. But you have to understand. One good act doesn't erase pain. It takes time. It takes showing up. Again and again. I know, Lily replied. And I will. I don't want anything fake between us. If this friendship comes back, it has to be something new. Not a rewind. Not pretending nothing happened. Exactly, Jasmine said, and her voice didn't shake this time. No more pretending. There was silence again, but this one felt different, like a deep exhale after holding in too much for too long. Over the next few weeks, Jasmine and Lily didn't become best friends again. They didn't go back to texting all day or tagging each other in everything. Instead, they took slow steps. Coffee here, a walk there, a shared laugh during a group hangout that didn't feel forced. Jasmine still had moments where the memory of that party would hit her like a wave. Still had nights where she questioned whether she'd been too open, too trusting. But she also had new moments now, moments that showed Lily was trying to earn her place again, not through words, but through showing up. And Lily didn't rush it. She didn't ask for things to go back. She didn't beg for forgiveness or expect praise. She just listened more, owned her past, grew from it, and that's what Jasmine respected most. On move-in day, Jasmine stood outside her dorm with 2 boxes and a heart full of nervous excitement. Her mom was helping her carry things in, her little brother running ahead like he already belonged in college. As she was about to step through the doors, her phone buzzed. Lily. You got this. One day when you're some brilliant, bossed-up CEO or professor or whatever, I'll be cheering from the crowd. Always. Jasmine smiled, heart full. She replied, Only if you promise to keep making the worst jokes during my interviews. Lily. Deal. And Jasmine? Thank you for not giving up on me. Jasmine paused, then typed, "Thank you for becoming someone worth forgiving." Weeks turned into months. Jasmine found her rhythm at college: new friends, new routines, new confidence. And every so often, when she looked down at her wrist and saw that faded bracelet she'd finally started wearing again, she didn't feel pain anymore. She felt power. Not from forgetting, but from remembering everything: the laughter, the heartbreak, the healing, and choosing to move forward anyway. Narrators close out. For YouTube viewers, what would you do if your best friend betrayed you in front of everyone? Would you walk away forever, or would you leave the door open just a little for growth, for change, for the possibility of something new? Jasmine didn't forget. She didn't ignore the pain, but she allowed space for something better to grow in its place. Because forgiveness isn't about erasing the past. It's about writing a future that feels worth healing for. If you found this story meaningful, let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a friendship that broke and maybe came back stronger? And don't forget, if you believe in the power of growth, forgiveness, and second chances, subscribe for more true-life emotional stories. Until next time, take care of your heart and take care of each other.